Howdy. I'm Gray Pilgrim. Well, if you watched a few days back, I did a video in which I was showing off a couple of my guns, shooting them, and it didn't go so well. And I'll show you why. I did some research. By the way, I'm a little tired because I just got through rewiring my dryer to get it to work. It hasn't been working for, several weeks now. And it's an old one where you crank the dial and then you punch the button. Not and then turn it on, which is what you do with a modern digital one. And they don't last anyway. But anyway, this is what I was talking about. Ooh, let's get here. Now, see these two? This is an Uberti. It's called a Wells Fargo. It's an 1849 without the loading bar, and it's a period correct sort of kinda weapon. Well, it shot one round, and this is an 1849 by Army San Marcos, and it shot one round. Well, I thought at first it was the mainspring, but it's a good solid mainspring. I cleaned it, I took it apart, I looked at all the parts, I checked out the sear, I checked out the hammer. Everything works fine, except for one little thing, I think. These nipples. I don't know what it is, but the nipples that they used on this just don't seem to work right. And I wasted about 8 caps trying to get these things to work, and my caps are precious. So I wanted to see if I could find some way to fix it. So I looked at a particular company that's near me. They're in Lebanon, Oregon, and I'm, it's just a hop and a skip away from me. But some time back, I bought a product from them. This is my Lamotte. You see these rather shiny-looking nipples that are on it? These are Slixspring nipples. S-L-I-X-Spring is what it's called. Slixspring. They're absolutely wonderful little nipples. They are slightly longer than the traditional Italian-made ones. And besides that, they have one extra feature. They have 2 little tiny holes on the sides of the nipples so that when the cap sparks, instead of it slamming the cap back into the hammer and then basically causing a misfire or a cap jam because of the cap being so poorly supported here, it basically expends some of the energy out to the side and therefore does not throw the cap back. So it's much easier to just shake it out and go to the next round. Yes, they look a little funky compared to the originals here, but hey, they work like a champ on this. So I'm hoping they'll be getting here in a day or two. I could have driven over and picked them up on my own, but at the moment I'm a little bit short on funds, and I have 1 tank of gas to last me until the end of the month. So I pay the extra for the shipping, and that'll work. Anyway, so it'll get here in a day or two. Well, problem is that Army San Marcos, Slixspring offers a set of these caps for either Uberti or Pieta. This is by Uberti. And so I wrote the guy and said, which one do you think would work the best? And he said, probably the Ubertis. So I said, well, send me a set of them. And if they don't work on this, I'll put them on this, and then see if there's something else we can try for getting this one fixed. But first, I'll try them on this thing and see if that works. This one also had trouble, and I'm thinking that these nipples are the same as the ones that Army San Marcos used to use. Army San Marcos went out of business many years ago. They are one of the small Italian makers of replicas that was all the rage from the 50s on. And from the date on this thing, this one's from about mid-1970s. You can tell that by looking at the the proof mark on it, and the proof date is stamped with an Italian code. Modern ones don't use the code, they use the actual date, but the older ones use this code. And I have I think I did a video on that, saying, okay, here's the code list, and I've got the full list, and I can look them all up. But and this one actually has the date on it. But it's interesting. When these get repaired, I'm going to go and redo that video and show that they probably do work. And once I've got it, hopefully the Ubertis will work fine on this. And if they do, I'll be back to Slixspring and get another set for this. And if not, well, I'll do a shooting test with the Wells Fargo. But I really wanted an 1849 to work. And this one is in much better shape than the other one I had that I sent off to a buddy to have him work on it, because I got it dirt cheap. And when I got it, I found out why. It had a hairline crack in the arbor, so that when the first time I shot it, it cracked the arbor, and it only shot that one, I think 3 of the 5 rounds that were in it, and then that was it. So I packed it up, sent it off to the guy who said he'd be able to fix it. And well, that's been a while. He's busy with other things, and I don't blame him for taking his time. But so, and I saw this again. It was a killer deal because it's an Army San Marcos. It's not a modern one. I don't know what the difference is, or if there is that much of a difference. But this one looks pretty cool. I mean, it's got this old style trigger housing on it, and it's got the case hardening, and it's got the traditional Colt impressed cylinder. So it's got all the bells and whistles. It no shoot. By the way, I swapped out the pin here with a pin here. This actually has the Army San Marcos wedge in it. Excuse me. But this one, it actually holds it on a little more secure in this particular gun. This one seems to work fine in the Wells Fargo, so I left it that way. Anyway, that's my plans for the day, or not for the day, for about 2 days from now when I get the Slixsprings in. I also have a Slixspring nipple wrench, which works a whole lot better than the usual commercial ones you get. So I'll use that when I want to work on these two. Anyway, that's it. Happy trails.